The world of One Piece is going crazy right now, from an event that for the first time since Marineford has seemed to affect literally every single person in the world, to a retirement home that decided to take their weekly Tai Chi classes to a whole nother level. One Piece has it all. I mean, it's no secret that we're in the end game now, so things are going to be moving at an incredible pace, but I was not expecting the entire world to be aware of Joy Boy and the three weapons, well, anytime soon, and definitely not. Well, honestly, I didn't expect them to ever find out. Moving on though, as Egghead is coming to a close, let's talk about everything. And I mean everything happening in the world of One Piece right now, starting with this subscribe bit. Please subscribe. No, I'm joking. Starting with the conflict at Egghead. I mean, come on, this is the most obvious thing to start with because it's the main point of the story right now. The Gorosei are currently whooping the asses of all the people at Egghead, which includes the Straw Hats and the Giants of Elbaf who are teaming up with the Vegapunks to escape. The fighting has been going crazy for the past month or two, and I think it's safe to say that this is one of the largest scale battles in One Piece. I mean, the Straw Hats are undergoing their second Buster Call, but this time they've had a much harder time escaping the fighting. Not only are the Gorosei some of the most terrifying villains we've ever seen, just from pure appearance, but they can also regenerate, have endless time in their forms, and seem to do some weird one-shot things, and have top-tier weapons, like the Shodai Kitetsu in possession of Gandhi, who can literally pierce through clouds. I mean, the Gorosei are actually insane in terms of fighting, and the Straw Hats are sandwiched between, well, them and a lot of things. Right now, the Straw Hats are struggling to escape, and although it seems like they may finally have a shot, as for the first time in a while, all the Straw Hats are off the island, it's still going to be very, very hard for them to escape all 5 of the Gorosei. However, as of chapter 1119, it seems like the Straw Hats may have a serious chance, though, as Luffy's going Gear 5 again, and the robot, who I previously labeled as the biggest fraud since Fraud Joe, might actually be just a bit powerful. I mean, the fact that the robot was the first thing to even do damage to the Gorosei is crazy, and the fact that it cleanly took off the horn is just mind-blowing. These people are incredibly powerful, but the robot just sucker punched the shit out of one of them. But speaking of the robot, let's talk what was previously played out of the robot, and what may be the most important thing to happen in this story for a while, Vegapunk's message. Vegapunk, who programmed a message to play upon his death, has been shaking the world up by revealing the world as they know it is sinking, and that there's an entire civilization underneath them. This sort of information being leaked to everyone in the world is a crazy move, and the fact that Vegapunk did this is setting the stage for some serious events. This sort of information being leaked to everyone is crazy, and the fact that Vegapunk did this is setting the stage up for some serious events that may shake and dismantle the entire world order as we know it. From talking about the ancient kingdom and the void century to becoming death, destroyer of worlds, Vegapunk has done it all during his speech. This sort of phenomenon is rare as hell in One Piece because nothing ever really manages to affect every single person in the world. I mean, a couple examples I can think of is Roger's execution in the war at Marineford, but other than that, nothing has truly caused every single person in the world to have a drastic change of opinion on the world. By revealing that an 800-year-old war is still continuing, that things with the power to destroy the entire world are still present and active, Vegapunk is quite literally shaking up everything as we know it. Even though we've only known him for like 50 chapters, Vegapunk is quite literally shaking up everything we know about the world, and he will go down as one of the greatest characters. Not only because of his message, but also because of how many times this man said fuck you to the world government. Not only did he go against the world and research the void century, but he also like started doxing their deepest secrets to the entire public. Like, this man's a D1 hater, and then you can bring a Bonnie who controls all the pacifistas. I mean, man, this is impressive levels of hating. But following Vegapunk's message being cut off because the robot I was hyped for put up a performance that rivals Oshinoko's performance in the disappointment category, the world also seems to have a belief that Luffy's the one who killed him. The reason Oda chose to show these panels was to show that Luffy's going to have to go through even more shit now because a large chunk of the world, including people who he helped, were led to believe that Luffy killed the greatest scientist of all time. So Luffy might need a better PR team. Continuing on though, as Egghead comes to a close with the Straw Hats finally having a real chance of escape and the end is in sight, let's talk about the world outside of Egghead because things have been going crazy there as well. For what we know, the conflict at Sabaody is still going strong, with the revolutionaries placing the Holy Land in a chokehold by preventing food and supplies from entering the island. Not only that, but Akainu seems to be pissed off at the world government, and while if this was any other, it wouldn't make sense bringing it up, this is Akainu we're talking about. For all we know, he may as well bring down the castle himself if he doesn't figure out what this Vegapunk debacle is about. And so I think it's interesting to see what he will finally do. After he finishes his paperwork, of course. Also, real quick, outside of Egghead, we have Morgans and Vivi still in the hot air balloon. Gaimon found another person to stuff into a barrel, which is pretty small in the grand scheme of things, but I don't know, I just feel like I should point it out, you know? Oh, and also Bonnie pulled out a semi-Nika transformation, which I know had a lot of people reeling when it first came out, but it really didn't turn out to be all that. But also, I think it's just a nice symbolic way of showing that Bonnie's finally free from her suffering, and as we're about to leave Egghead, she can finally be a kid and be happy again, as her dad is there and her savior is there. Finally though, to wrap up this recap, let's talk about outside the manga stuff, because One Piece as we know it has been going crazy all over the world. The anime is about to adapt some of the greatest moments in recent manga history, from Garp going crazy at the pirate island Hachinosu to Hobie's honesty impact, and who can forget Shanks' one shot. I mean, come on, these are some of the greatest scenes of One Piece of all time, and with the new animation, I'm extremely excited to see how they play out. The live action is also getting more traction right now, because it just announced some of the cast members for season 2, which is the Baroque Works Alabasta saga, and Man, I know I say this every time, but wow, their casting is spot on. I mean, come on, someone give these casting directors a raise. Overall though, yeah, One Piece is going crazy and we're almost at the fabled arc Elbaf itself. It can be safe to assume that Elbaf is the arc that's going to happen after Egghead. And so as Egghead winds up, I'm really excited to go there and see it because from what I've seen in the anime, God, is it beautiful. Overall though, leave your predictions for Elbaf in the comments and that's it for me. Thank you.